given by Luisa Zambrano-Marin, and it's an EPO talk, and it's going to be on the Arecibo Observatory Academy.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. You will look a little bit like my students in the morning or after lunch, very tired. Usually in class, I make them stand up and do stretches, but I'm not going to do that to you, unless you want to. So, oh, wait, let me go back. So, like he said, my name is Luisa Zambrano. I'm from the Arecibo Observatory. I work in the Planetary Radar Group with Dr. Mike Nolan, used to, and Dr. Ellen Howell. And on the side job, I have this EPO program called the Space Academy. How many of you here have been to Arecibo? Cool. Okay, so the rest of you, you need to come as soon as possible because it's a very, very amazing scientific facility. Here you can see a picture of the dish, and this is the first class of resident summer students that we had at the observatory. They participated in a summer program, and they had the opportunity to go up into the platform. So this has become my favorite picture of the Space Academy. It was taken this May. The previous one was a similar picture, but with Charles Bolden. But Buzz Aldrin beats Charles Bolden in my list. So this young man right here is Buzz Aldrin, one of the few men that's left that walked on the moon. And this awesome man right here is Pitufo. He's my little service dog that's not with us today. But all these other awesome kids are from the Space Academy, and they have been working really hard during the semester to be able to go to that event. So this talk is mostly about them, about the Space Academy and what do we do. In the top image here, in the top right image, the students are filling out a balloon that they're going to use to try and understand how weight works, how microgravity and weightlessness works. Here we have three students from the previous academy that are just taking notes. They have their journal, and it's like their Bible. They have to go with this journal everywhere they go. Here we're having a conference call with Judy's Night Korea in April, and they're talking to Korean astronaut So Yoon-yi. And here one of the second classes is presenting their research at the Ana Jimenez Pre-College Research Symposium. So basically our mission is to really increase the interest of these students in pursuing a scientific or space application related career, not just being interested because they already are. If they weren't interested, they wouldn't be part of the program. But we want them to see all the applications that science has. That is not just if you're an engineer, you have multiple jobs you can perform. Our vision is that we can really prepare them as professionals and as independent people. In the Latin American culture, students are very tied to their parents. Especially when they're leaving the teenage years and entering young adulthood. Sometimes parents, how many of you have kids here? How many of you have teenage kids? Okay, so you're in trouble. So it's really difficult to have them be free because you want to take care of them. You're like, don't fall right there, there's a ditch. But you have to let them fall because if they don't fall, they don't learn. So it's really good that the Academy provides that environment where they can make very silly mistakes and still be okay with it. Our goal is to be able to, like I said, to really foster in them creativity. We don't practice a lot of creativity nowadays. Inquiry, curiosity, that they ask why are we doing this, how are we doing it. In the picture in the middle, we have one of our students. She got help from two more students. They just needed to pass a certain amount of water from one bucket to the other bucket, and I told them just do it. No more explanations, no more steps to give or guide. And it was really cool. They were able to pass all the water, didn't make a spill. So far the Academy has had over 270 applicants, from which we accepted about 170 and graduated about 127. The Academy is, this is a picture of the most recent class, the spring 2015, and you can see it in their pride faces, especially in Angelique's face. She's really proud that she got her diploma. So do all the students, and this one, JD. Very, very special students. So not all the students that have started the program get to complete it because it's very challenging, and you're going to see in a few minutes why. This is a summary. I had to put some tables and data, right? Even if it's just students. I feel weird if it wasn't. The first semester we had 10 students, and applications have been increasing a lot, but at the observatory, if you haven't been there, we don't have a lot of classroom areas because it's not really designed for that. So we use the library as a classroom, the conference room as a classroom, and we've been able to expand. And this last semester, we were able to graduate 33 students. So that was really, really nice. Most of our students are between 14 and 16 years of age, and they're between 9th and usually 10th to 12th grade. A lot of them are in 12th grade. And this is the distribution. For those of you that don't know, Arecibo is located more or less right here. Wait, right here. Kind of there. So Puerto Rico is only 100 miles, but 100 by 30 miles long in a straight line. But most people stay in their community. They don't really travel really far away. So let's say if we were in Puerto Rico, and California is Puerto Rico, if you live in San Jose, it's very rare you're going to go to San Diego. Or it's very rare you're going to go to LA. You probably spend your whole life and you never went to LA. So the fact that we're able to draw students from all over the country, or the state, it's very interesting. And we can see it in all different areas when I split up the data from genders, from their grade level and their age. It's pretty much very well distributed all throughout the island. So far we've had 54 females and 72 males, but we always want to get more females. And these are a collage of more pictures of the students, showing some more presentations, what they've been done here. They are with last commander of the shuttle, astronaut Chris Ferguson, at the International Space Development Conference in San Diego. And here they're running the registration booth at the International Space Development Conference. But something that them and us have in common, well, we have a lot of things in common, but one of the things that we all have in common is that we were all born after Apollo. And to some generations, that's more important, it has a bigger connotation, and some others is just a tale that it happened once upon a time, some people went to space. But it really has something that everybody can see today. And it's the fact that we can see Earth from space, that we can actually have a presence. We do have a constant presence in space. And space is a topic that everybody has in common. There's not a person you see that hasn't once thought, oh, once I looked at the dark sky at night and had a realization. It's part of human nature. So the fact that they are born after Apollo and we are born after Apollo gives us a very different perspective. But it also gives us an opportunity to see how different our growing and our evolution has been. Students nowadays, like Paola, are expected to be able to have public speaking skills and present them in an audience of 300 or 400 people, versus when we were in high school, or most of you were when we were in high school, you didn't have to do that. Not really. Or you didn't have to. These events, these conferences are now events. They're like whole orchestrated events. So what we really are trying to accomplish is to get the skills they already have and enhance them, enhance their teamwork, their quick thinking, their public speaking, for them to be able to do collaborative writing, the concepts that they already have to be sharpened. Be surprised how many students can differentiate 2 liters between 2 kilograms. When you give them 2 things that weigh, one thing that weighs 2 kilos and one thing that weighs 2 pounds, they can't get around it. And units of measurements are the first thing. My undergraduate is in physics, and I think if you're not able to do units of measurement, like, you can't go any further. Graphs as well, they have a hard time understanding the spatial distribution of plot points of data. And something that we incorporated these last 2 semesters is cybersecurity protocols, which is something that did not exist when I grew up, when I was born, and even when they were born. This cybersecurity concept, and that they are aware that what they're posting, the selfies, the tweeters, all the things that they're posting is part of something that is called privacy that may not really be in their language, in their vocabulary. But at the end, what we really want is that they do scientific research and they live through it. To do that, we have different methods. We use non-traditional teaching methods. So for example, we try to immerse them in the research environment. So if they're doing a research about sleeping cycles, we have them try their sleeping cycle. One other research was the amount of water you consume. You have to take a lot of numbers and data. Peer instruction that they teach each other, and activities that we do. I'm going to show you a few more pictures now. Like lecturing, classical, that's traditional. Collaborative teaching, we sit around and debate and discuss, and they teach each other and they tell each other what do they know and what they don't know. In demonstrations, we use examples. This one right here, it's 2 semesters ago. There was a Venus transit during the sun, on the sun. So we created with a box, you can see the sun creating like a little planetarium, just opening a little hole. Of course, they found other uses for the box. But that's how you use it, right? You have to be inside of the box. Teaching, when they teach each other in this activity, one of the research that we're embarking on is to calculate the biodiversity around the observatory site. It's natural. Everything that's been growing under the dish has been grown naturally the past 55 years. There's been no plants that have been taken there. And of course, everything has to be evaluated, and all the lists on my right and left show the areas where we try to evaluate them on. But what we're really looking for is that they embed the scientific method in their brains, that they sleep on it, dream on it, talk about it, eat about it, do everything with the scientific method. So when they come to the program, this is the first thing they see. It's a welcome slide that tells you, welcome to the Space Academy. This is a map of Puerto Rico from space, courtesy of the International Space Station, that I altered in black and white. And then we start talking about BANA. BANA is a space settlement that the first group of the Space Academy designed. It's a space settlement for the NSS-NASA Space Settlement Design Contest, where students are to design a space settlement for as many humans as they want. We've been doing it for 3 years. The last one was BANA 3.0. That was a space settlement for 100 people. For this year, we want the students to develop a space settlement with today's technologies, one that we can build in 5 to 6 years, no matter how much it costs. But we want to know how much it's going to cost. They also get an introductory slide of the relationship of science with information, but I'm going to skip more details on that. And what is science? We come to a consensus and we all agree on what is science, how do we use it. This was a really nice quote from one of the students. For him, he felt that science gives us a lot to discover because we've been from caves to space. I think that was a really cute slogan. So once they're starting the program during the semester, the program has 10 weeks. So they get different missions throughout the semester. Remember, this is an after-school program, and the students don't have to be there or they don't have to do any of this. They're doing it by their free will and because they're like to be tortured by science. So some of the missions we give them include the use of the Earth Cam. Now that I know about Mars Tech and Lunar Trek, I'm definitely going to use them. So with Earth Cam, they take images using the camera on the International Space Station, and completing those missions is part of their program. I'm not going to go through all the details, but I'm just going to show you. For example, this semester they had 186 deliverables. This is a sample of the list they get. But I'm just going to show you an emergency plan, for example. They had to create an emergency plan for their home or for a location. And they come up with things like, well, let's be honest, not everyone can keep calm during an emergency. The way they talk to you is very personal. By week 2, they select a research project and they have to perform a literature review with guidelines, references, which many of them don't know. By week 3, they already have about 60 assignments, and this is the cut week where they have to create an infographic about space exploration. Some of them just copy things from the internet, a lot of plagiarism. Some of them get their little brothers to do it, and others actually come up with something. Like, that wasn't in the rules. I didn't tell them they couldn't have somebody to do it. By week 4, we start what is called little boot camp. We do PT training. Week 4 is when we start with the final class of the cadets starts. And we do physical training activities. Basically go running around the site and do a lot of physical workout. They want to be little astronauts, so they have to be in shape. They also By week 5, we really focus on research, and in week 6, we usually assign them a newsletter, basically to give us make a publication that you wanted to distribute about your experience in the Space Academy. And these are some samples of them. I can share them with you after the conference. This one is one of my favorites. The title of his newsletter is Affair of Space and Art. That was his newsletter title. And the subheading was Revealing the Unique Experience of Endless Nights that Inspire Art and Tireless Work that Takes Us to the Stars. So they're very dramatic. For them, anything we say, it's so exaggerated. And I'm almost done with the week 7, more activities that they do. My favorite is when they get to play Pyramid or Jeopardy with their family. And by week 8, almost everybody's plant is dead. Because they planted at the beginning of the semester. Week 9 and 10 are just finishing up their semester, and usually this is very average of the work. Most of the students fail at a few of the deliverables that are mostly the ones that are consistent, like log every day, do this every day. So those are usually these type of deliverables. The ones that are instant or long term, it's very easy for them. Here you can see another track of all the students and their progress. And by week 10, they graduate, like you have done from listening to my presentation. And thank you for letting us be part of Survey. And here, I'm going to leave you with this picture. Those were the first students from the Space Academy who are currently, Tamara is currently in the second year of physics. Christopher is in engineering. Joel joined the Army. Junelis is on her second year of astronomy at Maryland. Gabriela got accepted into Stanford, but their parents didn't let her go. I know. Edwin is in physics, but really wants to do astronomy. And Rosa is doing education, and Orlando is on his third year of computer sciences. So we have all of them, and this mom that found my email, my cell phone, and texted me this picture. I also want to thank you all.
That is so inspiring, so inspiring. So
Thank you for doing all that.
Yeah, we have time for perhaps one or two questions. And before you come up to the microphones, I want to mention that we have supported Noche de las Estrellas in the past, both in Puerto Rico. Yvonne was there to give a talk a few years ago, and we've since supported it, and we're really trying to increase our engagement with the Latin American community in the United States, including Puerto Rico, of course, but then also in the Western Hemisphere and in general. So it's just wonderful seeing this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions?